Happy Friday. It is Friday. I have gotten over all of my technological issues from yesterday, and I fully expect to be non-destructive in my internet efforts today. And I hope you as well will be, I dropped a word there, I don't know why, will be non-destructive in your internet efforts. That's the best that we can hope for. Let's be positive. Let's be hopeful. Let's be joyful. I don't think I've ever said those three things in the show, but let's go with that for now. Today on the show, I have a wonderful, wonderful person. This person has been touring on the Broadway tour of the Donna Summers Musical. And I think she was touring up until everything happened. And then, as with everyone else, it just kind of stopped. But she has a breadth of talent in her and performance in her, and I would love to speak with her right now. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome on Alex Hairston.
Hi.
Hi. Did I pronounce your last name right?
Yep, that's perfect.
Perfect. Good, good. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I get in a room and people try to say my last name, and it's always a problem.
Right. Yeah. I think people they try to overdo it. They're like Harris, and I'm like Hairston.
Hair.
That's it.
Yeah. So right in the middle between the R and the S, that's when you split, and it's Hairston, not
Hairston.
Hairston.
Right.
Yeah, that's a different Alex altogether.
Jump the bridge, Hairston.
Yeah. Exactly. So first things first, where are you coming to us from right now?
I am currently in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Oh, not far away.
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, is that your home place?
So I'm actually from North Carolina. My sister currently lives in South Carolina and had an extra bedroom when the quarantine hit. So rather than go into the hub of New York, was able to come down here.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah. A little less crowded for sure.
Right.
So you hail from Raleigh?
Fayetteville.
Fayetteville.
A little bit further south.
Yeah, exactly. And let me ask you this. So how did you find your way to New York?
Long story short, I kind of have been acting my whole life and kind of discovered theater a little later towards like my teenage years, and then decided to pursue musical theater. Went to college for musical theater and then started working on cruise ships, and then from cruise ships made the transition into New York City. Wow.
So cruise ships for how many years?
Off and on for about 3.5 years.
Okay. So not too long. And then you made it onto Broadway. What was your first show in New York?
Beautiful.
Beautiful, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I was on the Motown National Tour when I was auditioning for Beautiful. And then as soon as the tour ended, jumped right over, came back to New York and started Beautiful.
Yeah, I saw that you were in Beautiful, and you got to be on stage with, Supergirl. I can't remember her name.
Melissa Benoist.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I got to work with a lot of really talented people, including Melissa. So super grateful for that time.
Yeah, that's great. We had a past interview with Anika Larson.
Nice.
You didn't have any experience with her? I think she was gone.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's a great show to be in. I mean, such a, just a rich song, tapestry, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And what was your character in that?
I played Janelle / a Shirelle. So I start off the show as one of the Shirelles and then turn into Janelle Woods, who ends up being Carol's husband's mistress. Oh. But she also sings One Fine Day in the show, which is kind of like a big hit that they wrote, and it's kind of a little centerpiece of the middle of the show.
Yeah, I think I've heard the history of how that show came about, and how Carole King really wasn't on board at first, but then when she saw it all put together, she really bought into it, because she was thinking, how can you make my life into a musical? I don't get that, but it's just such beautiful music. Anyway, so that led you to.
That led me into Summer.
Yeah, not the season.
Not the season, the show and the legacy of a woman. Yes.
And you caught me listening to some of that right before we started.
Yes.
Gosh,
Such good music.
It
So
really
good.
is.
Yeah.
What's your favorite song by Donna Summer?
That's such a hard question after doing the show because I heard so many every night. I think it's maybe Hot Stuff. I loved that song even before doing the show. I would use it sometimes in auditions, even before auditioning. So it's definitely one of my favorites. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good workout song.
Oh yeah, good feel good song,
Yeah.
which most of her songs are. So
exactly. So you say that you did musical theater when you were young, or did you do like traditional theater as well? Just basically musical theater?
So I actually started off just doing acting, like on TV and film, and then kind of picked up dance when I was like 12, 13, started taking some voice lessons because I was not a good singer, and kind of discovered, I know it's crazy to believe, right? But there's hope. If you are a terrible singer, you just need a good teacher.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I kind of started picking each thing up individually, but still didn't really like pursue musical theater. And then actually went to high school at the School of the Arts for my senior year just for drama. And while there for drama, continued to, I got a chorus class and continued singing. And my choral teacher was like, I think you might have something here. And then I saw a production of Sunday in the Park with George, and I was just so like moved and touched, and I was like, okay, I have to do this. Like, I want to make people feel the way that I feel. So that was kind of the moment that I was like, okay, it's musical theater. Here we go.
Yeah. Sunday in the Park with George. Wow. And that's vastly different, vastly different from Summer, the musical.
Oh yeah. But I think at the end of the day, it was just about like feeling something and being so moved and just being immersed in that world and seeing what theater can do, that I really loved and that I fallen in love with. And I think that happens in every show, regardless of the time period or the theme or any of that. It's all about, communicating and making people feel something.
Okay, so this is my dad. And
hi, Dad.
He says he has something in common with you.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool.
Yeah.
So I was actually homeschooled for most of my schooling, but my brother went to Douglas Byrd. I don't know if he knows that school. It's right outside of Fayetteville, but that's cool.
Yeah, that's funny. I don't think my dad ever watches, so that's interesting that he showed up.
He's here for the disco.
That's right. Everybody's here for the disco. Were you into disco before some of the musical?
I was. I have those old school parents who like that's the music that I was raised on. I was raised on the Motown and the classic soul and Donna Summer and all that stuff. So I actually knew a lot of that music. People are always surprised, even when I was in Motown and Beautiful and stuff. They're like, and then especially in Summer, they're like, did you even know those songs? I'm like, actually, yeah, like those. That's what I grew up on. Yeah. So definitely was a fan of the disco. I didn't realize how many songs were by her.
Yeah.
Same thing happened with Beautiful. Like I didn't realize how many songs Carole King wrote and sang and originated or had her hand in. But I knew the song, so I think that's always also a testament to how good their music is.
Yeah, it really is. I have a little segue here for a second. My wife and I, of course, we've all been binge watching different stuff during this time. We started binge watching Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't realize until like the third or fourth episode that Carole King wrote the title music for that.
The opening song. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we got to the second season and there she is opening up a music store. And I was like, oh, Carole King is acting. How interesting.
Oh, I didn't realize she was in an episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
absolutely.
amazing. Yeah, I mean, I don't know her whole repertoire in terms of acting, but I read her book, and when she was a kid, she wanted to be on stage. Like she wanted to be an actor. She wanted to do that kind of stuff. And then in her teenage years, she kind of transitioned into writing her own music and kind of going that route. But she always kind of had the theater bug, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah. That's amazing. So Justin Reynolds, let's talk about him for a minute. Okay.
Yes.
So you guys are boyfriend, girlfriend, I can say?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
good.
we are dating.
So I met Justin through the Savannah Theater. You met Justin on Motown, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. And who was Justin playing in Motown?
He was playing Smokey Robinson.
That's right.
Yes. Yeah. Who he is just phenomenal at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can see that. He's got it. He's got it.
Yeah, it's there.
Wow. So you guys have been dating for a while then?
No, actually. So we met and we were dating on the tour, and then we went our separate ways and went about life. And then actually my summer tour was in LA at the time that he was also in LA. He kind of bounces between LA, Chicago, New York. And we just met up, he came to see the show and just reconnected, and bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom. And so Justin took you on a little trip recently.
Yes, to Savannah.
Yeah, and that was for your birthday, right?
It was for my birthday, yes.
Well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
You're welcome. What did you guys get to do while you're down here?
So we met up with Matt and Michelle, who are owners of the Savannah Theater. Maybe your viewers know that. I'm not sure. So we hung out with them, and of course he took me to see some of the sites. We were right downtown, so we walked along the water, and we went horseback riding and did lots of fun stuff, lots of cool sights. And we just kind of hung out. And then I actually teach virtually a musical theater dance class once a week. And so I went to go teach my class. He was like, why don't you teach it at the theater? It'll be cool. The kids will get to see a theater. And I was like, okay, I didn't think twice about it. And then actually when I finished teaching my class, he had this whole surprise ready for me to sing and dance a bunch of the numbers from Summer and kind of take my last bow, because our show closed so quickly that I didn't get, I didn't know it was the last show when it was the last show situation. So that was a really, really special, really cool experience to be on the stage again, singing those songs and living in that summer world again.
That's nice. That's so nice. And you had a little bit of a crowd there, just 2 or 3 people maybe. Yeah,
Matt was there. A few of the theater family were there, which was really cool.
That's nice.
It was nice and intimate and special.
Yeah, I know that we're all waiting for theaters to open back up so we can be in front of a large group. But I'm so glad that you got to take that final bow and enjoy the light for one more time before we open back up.
Yeah, it was really awesome, because that was such a dream role for me, and I got to utilize all of my talents, which is kind of rare in the business. A lot of times you'll have a show where you might sing a lot, you don't dance a lot, or you might dance a lot and you don't sing a lot. But that truly was a role that I got to do all of it equally across the board. So it was great just to be able to revisit it one more time.
So in Donna Summers the Musical, there are 3 Donnas, is that correct? Okay.
Yeah, so it's set up kind of like a concert with a flashback. So we have a duckling Donna who plays her in her younger years, probably 13. I'd say probably 10 to 13-ish. And then Disco Donna, who is what I played, is kind of the middle range of her life and her big disco career. And then Diva Donna, who is the older Donna and the narrator. So it starts off as if Donna was giving a performance in her later years of her career, and then she kind of flashes back, and it uses the music of her life, the music of her career, to tell the story of her life.
Oh, very cool. So you're right there in the middle. Does that mean you get the closing song of the first act?
Well, we actually didn't have multiple acts.
So it was one long act,
Yeah, straight through, hour and 45 minutes, no intermission, and Diva Donna and I are pretty much in the whole show, because she'll narrate and I'll kind of act out as she's narrating, if that kind of makes sense. So we kind of piggyback and work in tandem a lot throughout the whole thing. And then all 3 of us close the show with Last Dance with the whole ensemble.
Nice.
Yeah.
Was I listening to that when you came on, or was that, I think I was listening. No.
I don't know which one it was. Was it Hard for the Money? I think it was Hard for the Money.
I think it was Hard for the Money.
Yeah.
We all work hard for the money, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
So you mentioned that you teach a virtual class. How'd you get into that?
So it's actually an old dance teacher that has recently opened her own studio, was teaching obviously normally, and then when everything went into lockdown, quarantine, transitioned everything to virtual. And she had a teacher, and it was just kind of one of those serendipitous, like, look at God moments. Her teacher needed to be excused from the class to go do something else, or was moving or something of the sort. And around the same time that we went into quarantine, and we were just casually chatting, and I kind of made a joke of like, oh, well, if you need a teacher, like, I'm officially unemployed.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, actually, I do need a teacher. So it just kind of worked out.
Well, that's great. I mean,
Yeah.
it's I think these things happen for a reason.
Oh, yeah.
It's not always seen at the beginning of it, but as we work through it, we start to develop a new story, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But of course, we all want to be back on stage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what I think is also great is, so I've been doing that teaching, and then I'm also about to start teaching a virtual summer intensive for the high school that I went to, the School of the Arts.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be...
Is that North Carolina School of the Arts?
Mm-hmm, North Carolina School of the Arts. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that'll be an everyday thing for 4 weeks, which is definitely more than I've ever taught. And I don't even know that I've ever taken any sort of intensive that's anything like that. So it's also something challenging for me, and it's an opportunity to kind of, develop my teaching skills in another, side of my creative brain that I'm not used to using. So it does suck to not be on stage, but just trying to take advantage of every opportunity to stay busy and stay creating and keep working and challenging myself as much as I can. And it also gives me time that I didn't have before to give back and to spread, that knowledge and these like tips and tricks and things like that. So,
yeah, I think that's one of the big blessings about what we're into right now is the fact that we get to connect with people that we wouldn't normally connect with. And yeah, I know that absolutely. A lot of the intensives are going on right now with students who are interested in musical theater or performing or whatever, and they're getting access to people like yourself and who do it every day. And I think that's valuable.
Oh, definitely. And also what I've kind of realized, because when you first think about it, you're like, oh, it's virtual. Maybe they won't get as much out of the experience. Like you kind of feel like, oh, I feel kind of bad for them. But as I've been teaching, I realized that for some students, it's actually better because not only do they get to take classes from people who they don't have to be in the same town as, but I think there is something that also creates an even safer space for them to be vulnerable and to create when they can just be in their homes, in a place that's familiar, especially kids who are just starting or who are just making the transition from, oh, I've done a few like regional or high school plays and I think I want to try it professionally. It kind of gives them a space where they can feel more comfortable and like a more intimate setting to challenge themselves and to open up and try dances that maybe in a class they feel kind of awkward about, but they're like, oh, I'm in my living room and I'm on a screen, so who really cares, So I think at the end of the day, there's, some glass half full moments as well.
Yeah, definitely. You talk a lot about the students finding that voice. When did you first find your voice?
Honestly, after college graduation. It took that long. Wow. And I honestly wouldn't even say like found my voice and felt confident about it until probably last year. Like,
wow.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy. But, I think that in this business, so kind of backtracking a little bit, I was the only ethnic person in my program in college. So I never really had that like super like supportive confidence boost, like, yes, this is your wheelhouse and you're really good at it, like go for it. They were kind of always trying to sway me to be kind of like what everyone else was doing, which is not really what was for me. And so I kind of came out of college still not really knowing my voice, not really knowing my type or what I was going to be good at or what I should kind of go for. And then I started doing cruise ship work where they were all about like imitate Tina Turner, go be Celine Dion, like get out of your box, get out of your shell, just be loud and be big and just make these choices. And so then I kind of started feeling like, okay, I'm capable of producing these sounds. I'm capable of, you know, being this diva and this big performer, but I don't really know what to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
And it really wasn't until, honestly, probably in summer rehearsals and having to portray this diva and this big personality and this big performer who was also this real human, this real loving person, and having these intimate scenes and finding that balance in her that helped me find it within me. And having a really wonderful creative team who was really open to like, try it, make a mistake. If it's not right, we'll try it again. We'll try something else. Like
Mm-hmm.
if these moves don't feel good for you, we'll try something else. If this song, like this note's not a good note, or you don't want to, you know, sing it this way, let's try it another way. So it was kind of in finding Donna, I kind of found like the ability and the confidence for Alex to be Alex as well.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still haven't found my Donna.
One day you'll find your Donna.
One day. Actually, I take that back. My mother's name is Donna, so I found her a long time ago.
My mother's name is Donna.
Really? Wow.
Look at these coincidences.
Crazy. Yeah, that's fun. So what advice would you give to youth who are trying to come through and find their own voice?
Don't be afraid of it. Honor what makes you unique. I think that now, especially as the world is kind of turning in a different way, diversity, not only in the world, but in the theater, is becoming ever more important. Mm-hmm. And I feel like we're about to start seeing a huge shift in the ability to add diversity into the theater, not only in terms of, you know, ethnicity and backgrounds, but also just in terms of different stories and new work and new themes and everything like that. And so more than ever, honor and explore what makes you unique, and really hone in on that, and don't be afraid of that, because I think that that's interesting and that's beautiful. And at the end of the day, that is what needs to be on stage. And that is what, once it's on stage, people are going to be more moved by than seeing, you know, the same old thing done again, the same old way. Like, be exciting, be new, embrace what makes you you.
Yeah.
No rhyme, pun intended.
So yeah, I gotta agree. It's been a troubling couple of weeks that we've been through, mm-hmm. As well as a couple troubling millennium that we've been through.
Yeah.
But diversity is the biggest thing that we can take out of that right now, is that as long as we can keep moving forward with that, yeah, that's the best outcome that we can have, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
So talking about diversity, are you a huge fan of Hamilton?
I am a huge fan of Hamilton. When it first came out, I was just like, I want to be one of these sisters so bad. I think the music is really beautiful. I think it's really incredible that they were able to fuse so many different genres of music and put them onto a stage that was then received by a theater community who wasn't used to seeing something like this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
and
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's also been super helpful to young performers and to, you know, the youth, so to speak, because they are seeing that diversity and they're seeing something that they relate to, and something that they can do. And they're seeing people who are similar to them in so many other ways doing a show that is something that they can see themselves doing. So I think it was just beautiful for that reason. I've always been a big Lin-Manuel fan from the In the Heights days. I wrote papers about him in college. Like, I've just always loved his work because of how different and exciting it was. I'm a big contemporary musical theater fan, so yeah, it's actually one of my goals to do a new work and do something that no one has done before. Up until this point, I've always been characters that somebody else has previously played. And I would love to do something new, and it would be amazing if I could work with Lynn, because his brain is from another creative planet. So yeah.
Yeah. So Lin-Manuel, I know you're listening right now. Alex would love to be in a
yes.
show that you produce. That would be just
Please.
Tremendous.
That'd be great.
Yeah. And if you have a part for me, I'll jump in too. I have no.
Oh yes, yes. I hear he's a great reindeer.
I am. I've also played a monk. You don't really see my face, but I flip a card very well.
Oh, great.
Yeah, get Justin to tell you about that.
Okay, can't wait.
So yeah, Lin-Manuel Hamilton, what is a dream role of yours? If we'll take Lin-Manuel and Hamilton out of the picture, but what would be a dream role that you like to play?
I've been asked that question kind of a lot recently, and it's so hard to answer because Donna was just a dream. Like, I saw the show right before it closed from like the balcony last row, like cheapest ticket I could get because I couldn't afford anything else, and was like, oh my God, I have to do that. And then I got it, and everything has just kind of snowballed so fast that it's like I haven't quite even dreamed another dream yet. Like it's weird when you're in this business and you're like, okay, my goal, my dream is Broadway. And then that happened. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay, now my goal, my dream is to play a lead. And then that happened, and it was like the perfect lead for me. And so now I'm just now at that point where I'm starting to be like, okay, like where do we go from here? What do I do next? And like I said, I know I want to create something. I know that I want to do something fresh and exciting. I've also kind of started dabbling back into the TV film world, and I'm like, oh, that would be really cool to kind of take on a character that's completely different from the theater world where we're so big and so live, and maybe do something, a bit more like intimate and kind of out of my comfort zone. So I don't quite know what that next dream is yet, but I'm an all for going through a door when it opens.
That's great. Yeah. You have a bird tweeting in your background, and my sky is lighting up with lightning right now. It's like,
oh no!
Yeah. Can you see where that bird is? Do you hear it?
I don't see it, but I hear it. Yes.
Yeah.
Now that it's quiet, I hear it, but I can totally go right inside, and that'll probably help the bird situation.
Oh, no.
My sister lives on a golf course. Is it okay?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, it's kind of
okay.
It's a little ethereal. It's adding something.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. Yeah, she lives on a golf course, so there's lots of trees and ducks and birds around. It's really peaceful, except in the morning.
Yeah. So, yeah, of course. So I guess lawnmowers, right?
Yes, and lots of lawnmowers.
Okay. So you mentioned TV and film. So have you been in TV and film before? You said back in your youth you were?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I started acting at about 6, and I did a few commercials, and then I did a Barney movie. It's kind of the highlight of my childhood. Right. And then I kind of became that awkward teenager, and they didn't really want to put me on screen because I don't know if you've noticed, but teenagers on TV aren't awkward anymore. Like, they're always these beautiful, like full face of makeup, what I strive to be when I wake up in the morning, 14-year-olds. Yeah. And it's because they're not 14.
Right. So, they're 18-year-olds. Exactly.
Right. So I kind of became that awkward teenager, and that's when I, transitioned into the theater and live stage world. But I would love to get back into, doing some theater. Last year, I got a new commercial and voiceover agent and started doing some voiceover work, which is really fun. Sometime in the future, I don't know when because they take a very long time, but I will be the voice of Slash on Dinobots, the children's Transformer show. I keep looking for it on YouTube and I haven't found it yet, so
Yeah.
I don't know absolutely when it'll come out. But yeah, just doing stuff like that is really fun, and it's stuff you don't normally get to do. I have like a totally different character-y voice, and that's really fun. And there's kind of like a lot of interesting self-tape situations happening now that we're in quarantine. So doing some of those is also really strange and different. So always down to try something new.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to hear Slash. I'm going to have to check that out myself. I think Dinobots was a series when I was a kid, too.
It was, and they're kind of bringing it back and revamping it. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
It should be great for kids, I'm sure. Well, I got to say, it's been a joy to talk to you today. Did I ask you if you were going to sing something?
No.
Okay, well, I won't put you on the spot then.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
The bird sang enough.
Yeah, exactly. We'll say the bird is singing with all of our voices right now. But,
Yes.
Alex, it's been a pleasure. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I wish you all the best in your future theater as well as film and television and Dinobots.
Thank you. Thank you so
You're
much. This is
welcome.
really fun. Thank you
Yeah.
for having this platform for me to speak and also for people to learn from. I think it's really awesome.
Oh, thank you so much. And
Yeah.
next time you're in town, let me know.
Okay, yeah, I'd love that.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Bye.
Well, that was lovely. Thank you, Alex, for joining us today from your bird sanctuary. And have a great day, everybody. I'll be back on Monday, and it will be another week, and we'll still be in the house. Who'd have thought? Bye.